Hello viewers, I am Deepti. Now I am going to start with part 2 of my video based on ICSE Class 10 Biology, important point to be focused chapter-wise, starting from Unit 3 onwards. Let us start with Unit 3, which is Human Anatomy and Physiology. And this is the maximum marker unit carrying approximately 45 marks from examination point of view. So I request all of you to focus it and give a quality time to this unit. Starting with Chapter 8, which is Circulatory System. Now, two circulatory fluids, the blood and the lymph, is the fundamental topic that forms the base of this chapter. So we cannot ignore it. Next, composition of blood, structure and functions of RBC, WBC and platelets, along with the topic increase in efficiency of mammalian red blood cells due to the absence of certain organelles and their reasons. For example, one such reason is the small size plus the concavities on either side provide a large surface area which make RBCs highly efficient in absorption of oxygen, and many such small and simple points should be learned well. Next, brief idea of tissue fluid and lymph. Lymphatic organs, spleen and oval structure attached with the lymph vessels called lymph nodes. Like which lymphatic node is present on the side of the neck means tonsils. These type of points you should learn. You should also have a good understanding of blood coagulation and main reactions of blood clotting. Now, for blood clotting, you can see when the injured tissue and cells or platelets release thrombokinase. Then, in the presence of thrombokinase, prothrombin, which was earlier inactive, in the presence of calcium ions, it becomes active thrombin. And in the presence of active thrombin, fibrinogen, which is earlier soluble, now become fibrin, which is insoluble, and it becomes a network of sticky threads. It means clot is formed and thrombus is formed now. This is our blood coagulation main reaction. So emphasis should be learned which vitamin is required to convert inactive prothrombin to active thrombin. Then your answer should be vitamin K. And if the question is which element or ion is required to convert prothrombin to thrombin, then your answer should be calcium ion. Element should be from the periodic table. It means calcium ion, and vitamin is vitamin K. So write your answer appropriately. Variety of other questions can also be asked from this topic. The most important topic is the structure and working of the heart and the blood vessels. Names of main blood vessels entering and leaving the heart, liver and kidney only. Next is concepts of systole, diastole and double circulation are very important, along with the brief idea of pulse and blood pressure. I have made a video on circulatory system. If you have any doubt, you can go through it also. Next, blood vessels, artery, vein and capillary should be learnt well with the help of diagrams to bring out the relationship between their structure and function. For example, thin pocket-shaped valves are the characteristic of a vein. And why they are the characteristic of vein? Because to prevent the backflow of the blood, etc. These type of questions you need to cover from this topic. Other prominent topics are ABO blood group system, RH factor and the significance of the hepatic portal system. Important definitions from this chapter are angina pectoris, anterior vena cava, aorta, aortic semilunar valve, arterioles, auricles, ventricles, blood platelets, thrombocytes, indicator of clotting like we have seen here. Now blood transfusion, capillaries, carboaminohemoglobin, carboxyhemoglobin, chordae tendineae, clotting, coronary artery, diapedesis, like the process of squeezing of WBC through the capillary walls, diapedesis, systole, fibrin, heartbeat, hepatic artery, vein, hepatic portal vein, pacemaker, pericardium, phagocytosis like engulfing bacteria, pulse, venules, leukocytes, etc. These can also be asked in the form of differentiate between like questions. While preparing for differences, for example, differentiate between WBC and RBC, prepare different points like their definition, structure, functions, site of production, lifespan, etc. Similar points can be prepared for the difference between artery and vein because you need to give the difference given in the brackets only. If it is given. If not given, then you can write any difference there. Location and function related questions can also be asked in the examination from aorta, artery, thrombocytes, AVN, heart, hepatic portal vein, mitral yani bicuspid wall, pericardium, etc. For example, location of AVN, it means atrioventricular node, is at the junction of right auricle and right ventricle near the intra-auricular septum. Septum is the wall which is separating these two, and its function is to transmit the heartbeat from auricle to ventricle. Many such questions can be formed from this chapter. You need to focus completely to gain good score from this chapter. Next chapter is excretory system. One of the most important topic from this chapter is a brief introduction to excretory organs like kidneys, skin, lungs and liver. External and internal structure of kidney with a clear idea of the complete structure of structural and functional unit of kidney. And what is the name of structural and functional unit of kidney is nephron, Nephron. Don't write as neuron or nerve. A simple spelling mistake can change the meaning of the word from nephron to neuron. So please write it correctly. Give focus on all the labeled parts of pelvis, pyramid, medulla, cortex, etc. in kidney and Bowman's capsule, PCT, Malpighian capsule, loop of Henle, DCT, etc. very carefully. Out of many important reasons, one is about the dotted appearance of cortex. So your answer should be Bowman's capsule and PCT part lies in it due to the presence of Bowman's capsule and PCT part, proximal convoluted tubule in it. The dotted appearance is there in the cortex of kidney. Now, important topics should be covered for location and function questions are Bowman's capsule, distal convoluted tubule, glomerulus, kidneys, loop of Henle, nephron, PCT, ureter, urethra, etc. For example, location of loop of Henle is medulla of kidney and its function is active reabsorption of glucose, potassium, sodium ion and passive reabsorption of water. So lay more emphasis on the functions and their locations also. Other than structure and function of kidneys, the concept of all the blood vessels entering and leaving the kidney, especially the afferent and the efferent arteriole is very important. A brief idea of ultrafiltration with diagram of Malpighian capsule. To draw this diagram can also come to draw in the paper. Then reabsorption, tubular secretion and selective osmoregulation in relation to the composition of blood plasma and urine form is must for students aiming for a perfect score. Major differences like Bowman's capsule, hollow cup of single cell epithelium and Malpighian capsule, head of nephron which is made up of Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. Collective term is Malpighian capsule. Then pelvis, papilla, excretion, secretion, afferent and efferent arterioles, especially on the basis of size. Afferent is entering and efferent is leaving. Then composition of blood, etc. are other important topics from this chapter, and this is the most interesting chapter. The next chapter is nervous system. The most prominent topic is structure of neuron, nerve cell, central, autonomous and peripheral nervous system, CNS, ANS, PNS. Practice well to draw and label all the parts of the neuron. I am sure you have done this. Various parts of the external structure of brain and its primary parts. Medulla oblongata, cerebrum, cerebellum, thalamus, hypothalamus and pons along with their functions are the key topics of this chapter. Special focus should be given to the interchangeable location of grey matter and white matter in brain and spinal cord. You will see one question in the paper also. Like in brain, outer cortex of cerebrum contains cell bodies of neurons and are called grey matter. And inner portions consist of axons and is called white matter. We are talking about brain here. But in spinal cord, the gray matter, or you can say cell body, lies inside, and white matter, which contain axons, lie on the outside. So please lay emphasis on this difference of their location of gray matter and white matter in brain and spinal cord. The cerebrospinal fluid is same in both brain and spinal cord and act as a shock-proof cushion and a medium of exchange. Next is voluntary and involuntary actions along with meaning and examples should be learnt well. Diagrammatic explanation of the reflex arc showing the pathway from the receptor to the effector is a short question which can be asked either in the form of complete the logical sequence or to draw, like first is stimulus. Stimulus is a change in our surrounding. Then receptor, मान लीजिए मुझे कांटा चुभ गया, मैंने उंगल पे मतलब मेरी स्किन पे पता चला, रिसेप्टर ऑर्गन सेंसरी न्यूरॉन को बताएगा, सेंसरी न्यूरॉन ब्रेन के पास जाएगी या स्पाइनल कॉर्ड के पास जाएगी, वहां पर मोटर न्यूरॉन है, मोटर न्यूरॉन ने आगे हमारी इफेक्टर मसल को बताया और इफेक्टर मसल ने या ग्लैंड ने उसका रिस्पॉन्स दिया। तो इफेक्टर से लेकर रिस्पॉन्स तक, स्टिमुलस से लेकर रिस्पॉन्स तक ये चेन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। Differentiate between natural and acquired reflex can be asked in the form of examples, etc. Now coming to sense organs, external and internal structure of and functions of eye and ear and their various parts are also very important from board's perspective. So practice them well by drawing label diagram and then learning the function of all the associated parts of these diagrams. A brief idea of stereoscopic vision, adaptation, accommodation of eye along with all defects of eye and corrective measures with special emphasis on two diagrams of myopia and hyperopia. All defects are there, but diagram of these two are most important. So practice these two diagrams separately and importantly. The course of perception of sound in human ear and its major two functions. One is hearing and the other is maintaining the balance of your body should be learnt well. Major differences include sensory nerve and motor nerve, synapse and ganglion, thalamus and pons, corpus callosum. Corpus callosum transmits impulses from one cerebral hemisphere to the other. One cerebral hemisphere to the other. And then conditional reflex. Conditional reflex which trains the body for reaction and help to react unconsciously. Then cerebrum and cerebellum, then sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system which prepares the body for violent action to fight or flight, or parasympathetic to calm us. Then medulla oblongata and then cerebellum. All these questions can be asked in the form of either definition or difference between, or you can say reasoning or complete the term or name these. Now from the topic eye, difference between rods and cones, aqueous humor in between lens and cornea, and then vitreous humor in between lens and retina. Color blindness and night blindness, choroid and sclerotic layer, dark and light adaptation, near and distant accommodation, blind spot means no vision point and yellow spot means best vision point. Coming to topic ear, ear ossicles, oval window, round window, spiral shaped cochlea, fluids like endolymph and perilymph, organ of Corti, etc. One more important point of difference is ampulla of semicircular canal. Ampulla of semicircular canal is for dynamic balance, and vestibule, which is the collective term for utriculus and sacculus, is responsible for static balance. Static balance means when we are stationary, then our body maintain balance with the help of vestibules. And when we are in dynamic equilibrium or dynamic balance, then it is with the help of ampulla of semicircular canal. So write these terms very correctly when they were asked in the paper, and definitely one is asked from them. Nervous system along with sense organs can fetch you about 15 marks out of total 45 marks of human anatomy. So cover these chapters in great detail. Next chapter from the same unit is endocrine system. The ductless gland and their secretions are poured directly into the blood are called endocrine glands, and we need to cover adrenal gland, pancreas, thyroid gland and pituitary gland. In detail, exact location and shape of endocrine gland in humans, full knowledge of hormones secreted by, for example, pancreas, hormones secreted are insulin and glucagon. From thyroid, it is thyroxine. From adrenal gland, it is cortical hormones and adrenaline. And then from pituitary gland, this is growth hormone or tropic hormones, ADH, oxytocin, etc. Now, effects of hyposecretion and hypersecretion. Hypo means come, hyper means zada. Of these hormones, like from adrenal gland, in the adrenal cortex, if undersecretion of hormone is there, then Addison's disease is there. And if oversecretion is there, then adrenal virilism, or you can say Cushing syndrome is there. Of all the hormones, you need to understand these type of undersecretion problems or oversecretion defects, you can say completely. Make sure diabetes mellitus is due to deficiency of insulin from beta cells of pancreas, but diabetes insipidus is due to the deficiency of ADH. It means vasopressin. These are similar words, diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus. So you may get confused, so focus them clearly. Important differences from this topic are Addison's disease and Cushing syndrome, simple goiter and exophthalmic goiter, diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus, myxedema and cretinism, and nervous control and hormonal control. And many more differences are there. Coming to next chapter, which is reproductive system. Only an idea of secondary sexual characters, but functions of male and female reproductive organs and male accessory glands should be covered thoroughly. To draw and label the structure and functions of various parts of the sperm and egg. This is one of the frequently asked questions, especially the function of acrosome is to facilitate the entry of sperm into the egg by dissolving the wall of the ovum by secreting an enzyme. And what is the name of this enzyme? It is hyaluronidase. Next, the terms like fertilization, implantation, placenta, gestation, parturition, it means birth, along with their explanation is must, as these can be covered in any form. Another important topic is the role of placenta in nutrition, respiration and excretion of the embryo along with its endocrinal functions and permeability. Next, important differences include asexual and sexual reproduction, menarche and menopause, primary reproductive organs and accessory reproductive organs, bulbourethral gland and prostate gland, uterus and vagina, implantation and pregnancy, follicle and corpus luteum. Please do not get confused between corpus callosum term used in topic brain. And now we are studying about corpus luteum. Corpus luteum, which is the yellow mass of the remnant of the follicle in the ovary after ovulation. And corpus callosum is a sheet of fibers connecting the two cerebral hemispheres. Next important function is of fetal membranes, umbilical cord and amniotic fluid. Menstrual cycle including all the four phases of menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, luteal phase along with their approximate duration should be covered. In reproduction, the role of sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone cannot be ignored. Meaning and differences only for identical. Identical twins produced from one egg, both girls or both boys, or fraternal twins produced from two eggs may result in both boys or both girls or one boy and one girl. A few more important definitions include blastocyst, chorion, epididymis, fetus, gestation, hymen, ovaries, ovulation, puberty, semen, sterility, sperm duct, etc. Location and function wise, out of many important terms, a few are scrotum, seminal vesicles, seminiferous tubules, prostate gland, placenta, oviduct, endometrium, or chorion. This chapter is going to be covered in exam after 2 years. So according to my expectation, it can cover near about 8 to 10 marks in 2022-23 board. So give a complete and careful look to score full marks from this chapter and practice more and more for diagrams along with their labeling and functions also. Next unit, human evolution, is not in the syllabus for 2022-23. So straightway coming to next unit, which is population. Main reasons for the sharp rise in human population in India and in the world. Definitions like demography, population density, birth rate, which is also known as natality, and then death rate, which is also known as mortality, and growth rate of population, etc. Normal, very simple terms, but one point I want to focus: while defining natality or mortality, we write live births or number of deaths per 1000 of population per year. The word is 1000. Numerical term is 1000, not 100 of population per year. Problem faced due to population explosion like unemployment, overexploitation of natural resources, low per capita income, price rise, pollution, unequal distribution of wealth cannot be ignored. So please read them properly. 100% guaranteed question from the topic. Methods of population control are surgical methods. Tubectomy in female, in which oviduct are cut and ligated, or vasectomy in males, in which vas deferens from each testis is ligated and a small piece is removed. Out of these two, tubectomy and vasectomy, one is surely going to come in your exam. Important differences include natality and mortality, tubectomy and vasectomy, exhaustible and inexhaustible resources, diaphragms and IUDs. IUDs means intrauterine devices like copper T, etc. Next is population density and population growth, etc. So this is a very small unit. Coming to last unit, which is pollution, in which all types of pollution like air, water, thermal, biomedical waste, radiation, noise, soil should all be covered along with major pollutants of each type of pollution. Meaning and examples of biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste like plastic, glass, styrofoam, etc. and pesticides like DDT, etc. should be covered. What are the effects of pollution on climate, environment, human health and other organisms, and what are the measures to control them, like use of unleaded petrol or CNG, switching engines at traffic signals, social forestry, setting of sewage treatment plants, ban on polythene and plastics, organic farming, Euro-Bharat Vehicular Standard. Brief explanation of greenhouse effect, global warming, acid rain, ozone layer depletion, along with smoke and smog, etc. A general idea of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, a national campaign for clear India. Apart from this, there are many full forms from some topics. Try to write them perfectly, like ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, ADH, antidiuretic hormone, ABA, abscisic acid, AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, ANS, autonomic nervous system, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, AVN, atrioventricular node, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, GH, growth hormone, HB, hemoglobin, HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, IUD, intrauterine devices, LH, luteinizing hormone, NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, PNS, peripheral nervous system, RBC, red blood corpuscles, RNA, ribonucleic acid, SAN, sinoatrial node, SNS, somatic nervous system, TH, tropic hormone, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, WBC, white blood cells. With this, I conclude my today's video. I hope you will score good marks in bio and this will improve the overall percentage of your science paper. My best wishes are with you. Thanks for watching till the end. Keep watching, sharing and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.